So when I came into my role, this was all manual. Like I said, it was in that paper format. So I was spending anywhere from 3 to 6 hours to essentially read what my champions wrote. So I had to decipher some handwriting, which was some of the portion of that time. I had to then physically key it into Excel because that was kind of my that's where we held our data for data integrity purposes. So I'd have to key that into Excel. I have to, in some of that time, I was building some validation in Excel. So I was building some VLOOKUP tables, and I was building a variety of different things in Excel to try to automate that as much as possible. Even after I did that, it was still taking me around 3 to 6 hours to decipher what the champions were reading or writing, and then what they actually were meaning by what they wrote, which was also sometimes a piece of that. And then I'd also have to do this aggregate and this calculation. So we use this percentage not really to drive change, but to give me a better idea of how that team's doing month over month. So essentially they get a score associated with that finding, and then it's averaged from a total score that they could get. And then that gives me an idea of, hey, this team had an 80%, they went to a 90%, and they dropped down to an 80%. So I can use that data to kind of get an idea that this is probably a difference of auditors, to be honest. Given by that, I know from this program that because those numbers are all fairly close, that's probably just a difference of who audited that month. So then I can use that information to go back to my champions and kind of norm on audits and make sure that we're doing a good job, make sure that people are auditing the same way, etc. So with the admin time portion of that was also just doing this numerical calculation in Excel. Then I was also cutting and pasting that data into a, lack of better words, a prettier version of that data. So then I could present that at a few places throughout the factory, but then also bring it to some stand-up meetings in a digestible fashion, if you will. An Excel spreadsheet with 50 to 60 lines every month isn't super legible and isn't super beneficial to the audience I was presenting that to. So I'm be able to convert that data from an Excel spreadsheet to like a graph, for example, in PowerPoint is typically how I display it. That was some of the admin time as well. And then some other admin time that I was doing is for our monthly leadership Gemba. So we walk around and do recognition piece for this program in particular. I'd have to go through and either use formulas or basically do month over month calculations to determine who would win certain things and who was doing better than other people. And that portion of this program was very admin intensive, if you will. Now with Thrive, because I have all of that pretty much automated, once a month I basically pull up my dashboard and I can just grab a snapshot of that graph, put it over into whatever medium I need, if that's email or if that's a PowerPoint to print or whatever that might be. It's very natural, and it takes me 5 minutes versus the 3 to 6 hours, which is a lot of work. It also does all the auto calculating for me for my recognition piece as well. So now instead of having to do that manually, it just tells me that this team improved the most, this team was the best team, etc.